conceptually what we're going to say and how weird or stupid we might get, but you're the first female guest. And so speaking about the gym stuff, you know, we've been on this rant, Deb, like, and don't get us wrong, we're all guys here. Thad's happily married, Kellen's happily married, I'm what I am. And we just talk about, look, we know you're hot. We get it. When you wear your sports bra at the gym and your underwear shorts, we get it. This is what's funny. And from a girl's perspective, because you're also like fun too. You're not like all professional.
Well,
you have a fun side. You like to get out and have a little fun, but you're also, I see you as a modest, professional, classy lady, but you can still have fun and let your hair down and whatnot. If we walk past you at the gym and you're wearing underwear, gym clothes, I'm going to notice.
Some booty shorts.
So now it's my job not to stare, but Lord, I'm going to notice. So what's interesting me about females these days, not all, but this genre of females
Don't give a sweeping generalization for all.
It's a giant one, yeah.
Because I wear sweatshirts to the gym. So.
Well, and that's not even a thing, but you know what I mean? So we notice, keep on going about our business, but let's say a guy, and he shouldn't do this, but I get it, takes a longer look than he should, or even a look that's like, what are you doing? The girl then makes him the weirdo. Like, what are you staring at? Your boobs are out.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know, it's like a train wreck. I don't know if I'm supposed to look or not. What in the world is going on with this current day group of females that think that they can be mostly naked at the gym, but also make everyone that notices the weirdo?
Yeah. Yep.
Have you noticed that?
Oh, no, I have. And I immediately think two things. I think part of it, is insecurities, right? And the need for somewhat attention because there's something going on that they need to be noticed, right?
Right.
Because that's the last thing I think about whenever, I'm also not physically fit like they are, but try to stay healthy. But I don't know. Sometimes I immediately go to that. I feel like what's going on that you feel the need to basically be half dressed, or I don't know. But then the other thing is that whole need to then make you guys the bad guys whenever you do stumble upon them, right? Or you stare too long, or you do whatever. Sometimes I think, like, again, going back to what's going on in their life, that some man has done something to them to make them feel that way. And you're like, but like you said, you know that men are going to stare at you. Like, it just is what it is, right? Men are created differently than women. And
you have to think that there's some level, and I always like to, because we're going to get 10 million messages on this, by the way, already probably coming in. I'm not necessarily, now you're going to do this, but me and Kellen split this.
Well, I do need to add, don't mean to interrupt, but
no,
I don't want to say everyone that wears that is
100%.
Hey, I do want to.
Because they could be proud of all the hard work they've done. So I do want to add that, because they could have worked real darn hard, and they want to, you know.
Bryan brought me into this, and I'm married, and the first time I noticed a woman's shoes is because I'm supposed to, because I'm married. And so one of the things I do want to ask, because we went on this rant, when a woman is dressing for the gym in the current temperature of the gym, stuff where clothes continue to diminish, right? Do they care more? I believe the insecurity wants the looks because it's validating the hard work and that they're set apart a little bit, right?
Sure.
But secondly, is it more for the other women? Are they competing? Like what's going on in a woman's mind?
That. Yeah.
Yeah, because men don't look at shoes. Women wear shoes for other women.
Right.
And themselves.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
I can see that too, Kellen. You know, to your point, Deb, look, it's 2025. I get it. I mean, we can't go too hard on this, but then be like fine with bikinis at the pool and the gym and the lake. It is what it is. You all got what you got as your options.
I think we can though, because we have more divorces than ever. Yeah. I have more young people in more toxic relationships than ever. Yeah. And Bryan trying to throw me under the bus. My stance on it for young ladies is you're attracting little boys and predators, because a protector is going to view you a certain way. and how you present yourself in the first 10
want you
seconds
to
to
be
a
more
guy,
modest,
he's not thinking long term. So
Yeah.
the guys that you're asking for and truly desire to treat you a certain way are going to move on.
You truly do need to dress for that occasion if that's what you're seeking. Yeah.
And while
you're
we're
right.
on this, I'd also say if a man is attractive and approaches you and he says just the right thing, blow him off because he's practiced that 100 times.
Yeah.
It's inauthentic.
Yeah. Well, and you think about if a guy, if they meet and they were at the gym and it's boobs out, all that, and then they attract each other and they start dating, but then all of a sudden he doesn't want her to dress that way anymore. But that's the reason why, in the beginning he wanted her to
That's
dress all
hard too.
sexy
Yeah,
and all that.
that happens
stuff,
a lot.
Right? So that happens as well.
a
All of a
real
sudden,
thing.
yeah,
Very interesting.
all of a sudden you're my property now and you need to dress more modestly and whatever. And you're like, but you liked it at the beginning, So that's one too.
Certain personalities add on to this too. Like I do know a couple of married couples that have very, very good relationships, open, transparent, authentic relationships that are actually good for other people. And they're both, these two that I'm thinking of, they're kind of like workout heads, meaning they both are always dressed like they're about to work out all the hours of the day.
Yeah.
So, and I always think of like Alex Hormozzi too. He's always wearing little bitty shorts, a little bitty tank top, but he's the most normal guy in the world. His wife always has the workout pants on and the top, but it goes down. It's not like a bra.
And it's their career.
So I do
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
split a little bit of that because I don't want to go hard on like every single person. Intentions and motives matter too. I know when we're talking about some of these women that have their workout pants on, they'll have their workout top on. Again, it's not a little bitty bra and little bitty shorts, but it is kind of tight and revealing. At the same time, the vibe's different.
Yeah.
The vibe is different. I don't expect them to hide in their garage and work out. They should be able to go to the gym and work out without people being weird. So I do want to pay attention to the vibe because I want to mix in. We can't go too far on the clothing, Kellen, because we'll go on forever and ever. But clothing plus vibe, all that starts to matter too. You can definitely make it to where I'm not against this attention. You can also be like, I'm here to work out. This is pretty conservative in the way of a workout outfit, and it's way better than what you see at this and that. And I'm on board with that. I don't want to be like, nope, you've got to wear baggy sweatpants and a baggy sweatshirt. You don't have to do that. It's fine if you do. I'm actually a little bit more of cutting edge than Kellen would be on this. We talk sometimes to where
Brian wears little short shorts, is what he's
I
saying.
was hoping
Hey,
that wasn't
baby.
gonna
Yeah.
come up.
Don't hurt
the
it.
chubby-
boys,
Don't hurt
chubbies.
them.
they're pretty small. I want you to see
Chubbies.
them leg tattoos, you know?
That's a visual that's up here from
Yeah.
now on. That's all I'm seeing.
He
It
buys
is
little
awesome.
shorts
I
called
mean-
chubbies. They're weird.
They are called chubbies. It's weird, but I just wanted to get your opinion on it. I just wanted to get your opinion.
Well,
so here we go.
I'm glad
I
that we got
wanted
the
to
point.
also say on this kind of topic of going to the gym, whatever, guys, what are you there for? Are you there to literally look at girls, or are you there to better your life? And like,
The
I
opposite,
think
the,
as
the other intention, the intention
Yeah.
from the other
Yeah.
side.
the intention, like from the other side of like, are you there to like look at women while you lift weights or do cardio behind them?
Because
Or
That may not
you
be
know.
their intention, but you're still a man and
Yeah.
you're designed
But also, like,
differently.
we
Be
as
better.
dudes, you got to be better.
Yeah.
You got to
Be better.
control
Well,
yourself. Control your intentions.
I have
Control your
something to-
emotions.
I have something to say on this. As I work with men and they get vulnerable,
Yeah.
usually
did you guys notice me
several years later-
gaslighting Kellen into this?
Yeah. Usually several years later, I'm just glad that you wear short shorts with leg tattoos. It's not weird at all. Most men will tell me that they got introduced to pornography before the age of 13.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
true.
it's something in a very vulnerable mind that's still active that they don't want active. And you're exactly right. It's not just the clothing, even though see-through clothing's pretty bad. I've actually had to go to a management of a very nice gym and be like, hey, you can see through her freaking clothes and there's 15-year-olds upstairs.
Yeah.
Let's stop.
Yeah.
Let's grow
do
up
better.
and confront something.
Yeah.
But, and this is for any guy listening, like you're probably dealing something from early in life that if you're battling it, you don't want to deal with, but it's anchored deep. And for women, you keep going, I want to do whatever. There are grown men that want to be better, and you're triggering and acting
Making
like
them
the women that
stumble.
they saw when they were a little teen boy that they're wanting freedom from. And they're wanting freedom to be a man, to court you properly, to raise their kids well. Like there's stuff when you are over 30 years old as a man that you want to do well. And so it's an area of bondage. So there's a lot going on there.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
and to kind of wrap that one up, never, because it's always going to be a thing, apparently. That last call to action for me, from a very amateuristic point of view, I'm not perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I've learned the last couple of years through these kinds of topics is that men, if she's always wearing something that makes you uncomfortable, but you desire to see it,
Yeah.
those can happen at the same time. But your system of belief and what you really desire and want, if that makes you uncomfortable, I would encourage you to just separate from it. Don't even have it in your purview, because we can't control how other people handle themselves. We don't get to lord over them and control them. Walk away. Go somewhere else. Ladies, if you notice that if you're wearing something and it could be a little risque and men are approaching you to flirt in it, know that they're probably flirting with what they see, which is your
Physical
body.
appearance.
Yeah.
They don't see anything else. They've never met you. They don't know your personality or your heart. Don't get weird. They're not there because you're God's will. They're there because you're hot and because they're having a weak moment. So to your point, that I think we've all got to be a little bit better on that. Men too. I mean, I get the message, and I'm going to get 1,000 of them. Well, so-and-so at the gym's always got his muscles out. Okay. I don't disagree. Men can do the same thing. Just understand, women, you guys aren't sexual beings as much, so it's not like you're just lusting after him. You're different.
Yep.
We're the opposite of that. So we are doing that very
And if
thing.
it's not his career and he looks that way where he can't have his muscles out, you're going to be second to his workout. Like, know that. The other
Great
thing,
point.
I like to use that all
to
the
wrap
time
this,
when guys look better than me.
to wrap this up, when you get in a real relationship with two people that want to be in a relationship with the same person long term, we're not trying to get in a relationship with somebody else, and you met and you guys take care of yourselves, and he views you as physically desirable every single day, and you wore some things. For the men, I would caution you because it feels like control, and a lot of women have been in areas of control in work, in their home, or in a past relationship.
So it's going to push them off, right?
Pray about how you present it. Let them know what you've heard from other guys, that's your prize. You desire her every day. You love to look this way, but when these things are worn, there's these predators that don't have a good heart, and they're running things through their mind, and some of them are unsafe. And I've even had that conversation, and I will with my daughter. If you put yourself in the wrong place and you're look a certain level of desirable, if you get the wrong eyes on you, they may follow you. Yeah. And so just bring it the right direction, and don't ever say you can't. It's another human being. You don't get to say that. Just share your heart, and if you're not prepared to do that, say nothing. Right. So let's intro Deb.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go to, And if we swing back into it, we can. But I really wanted to talk about a few things that I think you'll have some good point of views on, Deb. But first of all, we've been friends for a little bit. You've been friends with Kellen for a little bit. We know you as the mayor of Broken Arrow. But I feel like I just know you more as a lady who I think is cool and fun. I keep my circle so small these days after years of trying to be friends with everyone and be everything to everyone and
exhausting.
Be fake and inauthentic, not all with bad intentions, just like, isn't this what we're supposed to do, right? This is how you build a business? I started to filter this thing down to where I have different levels of relationships and closeness, but the people that I like to spend time with, that just to hang out with in general, because they're doing good business with their career, they're doing good with their nonprofit work, being in the community. And then I also can see, like, maybe even from a distance at times, like, that looks like a pretty good relationship too. So that's how I start to filter friends down. And I like to spend time with you. We do some fight stuff together, do the gala stuff we'll talk about in a minute. So I kind of wanted to just share, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being the first female guest, because we might put you on the spot once or twice, but only because we feel like we already know what your answer would be, by the way. We would never put someone in position to be weird unless we didn't like them. But I like Deb. You like
That's
Deb?
honest. I do like Deb.
Thank you. Okay. For the record.
Deb is awesome.
Thanks.
She is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for the work that you do. You're not the typical elected official. You're not the typical mayor. I believe that you take that position and you live that position in a way to where, look, if I'm going to represent everyone, this isn't a popularity contest to me. This is something to where not only do I want to do good for everyone, I want to have good relationships with our citizens, but you're also cool about engaging the business in your communities, right? I mean, you seem to be very intentional about the success
of
the business owner.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. What has you doing that? Not every mayor does that. Most don't, actually.
Yeah. Well, and I'll start with, it's not as if I ever desired to be an elected official. Like, I just, first and foremost, because yeah, golly, because especially nowadays, who would want to do that? But I was also, I truly believe I was created to be a connector. Like, Deborah means bee, which, they're just buzzing around doing stuff, right? But I also just know that I'm supposed to be a light, and I'm supposed to bring people together. God told me probably 20 something years ago that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I feel, I'll tell just a real fun story about spiritual gifts. Did I tell you that story, Bryan, when we were talked last? I can't remember.
You might have, but tell it again, because you're getting on something we like to talk a lot about, which is marketplace. And so many Christians these days don't understand that our purpose happens mostly out here.
Yeah, not in a building.
Out in the marketplace, which is in our society, our businesses, our nonprofits, and that's what you're talking about. So tell us about it. That's what I love.
So probably 20-something years ago at church, one Wednesday, we went to a real small church at the time. We did the little spiritual gifts test. You know, you fill out the paper, you add up the points, and so at the end of it, my husband said, I basically went white as a ghost, and I was like, I don't think I want this gift. And he was like, what are you talking about? And said, I was like, do these gifts just come upon you? I thought maybe you were just like ingrained with, and that's who you were. And I've never done this before. He said, I was just basically petrified. He was like, what does it say? And I said, it says I have the gift of exorcism. And he was like, what? And he grabs the paper and he goes, it's exhortation, Deborah. And so I was like,
that's awesome.
What's that? And he goes, it's where people are just drawn to you, and you're an encourager, and like people just open up to you and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I totally have that. Like, I could see that, right? And so then the big joke now is like, don't call me if you have demons, because I'm not an exorcist.
I love the vulnerability there, though, of like just be on your journey as new believers too, right? As we're learning more and more, it's okay. It's just okay to just be where you're at.
Yeah.
And to grow.
Well, and then when you do kind of learn what your bent is and how you were created, how much easier it is to go through life. And when you build relationships with people, like seeing their love language and seeing their spiritual gift and knowing that, it makes it so much easier, I think.
Yeah.
Because then you can talk their language, right? But as far as our businesses and our community, I was a small business owner for a number of years. I had a retail store, and I miss it because I love people. And so every day I had people coming in, right?
Yeah.
And so that was when I stopped that. This role now as mayor, it's just so much joy, just still seeing everyone and being able to pop in and say like, okay, how's it going? Can I post about you on Facebook or something, anything. Do you guys need anything? And I think they appreciate that, right? That I'm out and about. I'm not just sitting in an office and going to a ribbon cutting, right? So, but I don't think I'm built to be that way. So
when you do that, Deb, and so many people don't understand the psychology behind connection, is when an elected official is never seen, whether they're the greatest people in the world, you start to assume the worst about them because you don't see them engaging in the problems. So it's not like you have a magic wand to solve problems, but when you're out there and you're engaging with people, you're facing the issues, you're being social, you're hanging out, there's psychology behind me assuming, okay, she's involved. She's doing what she can. She's supporting us. She must also be fighting these issues. And it's kind of a sneak play to do it.
But if you're not out like at all, people gossip. Yep. It's the nature of humans, and so their truth, which is a big thing these days, is going to be what other people choose to say about you that may have their own ulterior motives, right? Yeah. And so if you're not out, you're also diminishing what you could do for others through connection for the city because you're letting somebody else tell your story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, telling stories. I speak to like elementaries and middle school students, and from time to time, and I always wrap up with, make sure you write a really good story about yourself or someone else will. Like every decision matters, and it goes into your story.
That's
and
a real good word.
Don't let anyone else tell your story. But social media, like on my mayor page, I don't put everything that I do all the time, because then I have the people who say, "Oh, you're just bragging. You're just, look what all the stuff I'm doing." But then if I don't put enough stuff, then they're like, "Is she doing anything?"
She do anything?
Right?
Hey, really quick, because
I'm like, oh.
I've talked to Corey about this and you, and so for everybody, just to understand that you have to have a mayor,
Yeah.
and in the position, but what are the actual challenges that are unnecessary? Just to give you a moment, just some of the things that you're having to deal with because of where the community's at and just people in general, that if you wave a magic wand, you'd be like, hey, if this stuff would remove, the city would be a lot better. Like the things coming. What do those look like for a mayor where you're just like, this is unnecessary, communicated poorly, whatever that is. I just want to give you a space to talk through it.
Yeah. Well, you have to think, you can't make everybody happy. And that was the hardest thing for me. Because even if you're doing the most amazing thing for your city, someone is not going to agree with it, right? So I had to come to terms with that real fast. But reaching everyone, you would think with social media and the way things like news comes around, that you could educate everyone about the processes of government, the way our city is ran, when they have unwarranted expectations of what my role should be or what the city manager's role should be. If we could just educate, if the whole community could, like, okay, now you understand how this runs, and so you don't have to make up false narratives about my position or who I am. I guess it comes down to just, I wish people could understand what our actual power is in the position I'm in. Because, like, we're not a strong mayor community, nor is Jinx. And so we get a lot of flack about, well, the mayor should be able to do this and the mayor should be able to do that. And yes, I have influence on most things, and I have an amazing relationship with our city manager, but it's his job. That's what he gets paid to do.
Right.
We're the legislative governing body of the city, and we make legislative decisions. But people don't understand that.
Well, Charlie Kirk, I mean, that's a big topic this last week.
Yeah.
He shined a light on that. What you're saying is we have a crisis of ignorance.
Yes. And they run with it.
Yeah.
And they believe it to be true, and then they share it with others who then also believe it.
And people are basically yelling at people to do things they have no power to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and what I like about your proactive approach, Deb, to it is that, and it's probably a part of your personality too. You're a fun person. You like to have relationships, social. I see you kind of as an extroverted personality. But I like that you're out there facing it, knowing good and well people are going to complain about it. They're going to hammer you about this and that. They're probably going to approach you. I bet you get approached from time to time with people kind of being weird, like, I wish you would do this or I wish you would do that. And you remain engaged. You remain doing it. And I think it's such a great way to lead, because one of the breakdowns we have in our society, which Charlie talked a lot about this too, is we have elected officials that don't really understand what to do.
Yeah.
Whether they're not doing it on purpose or they don't know what to do, doesn't really matter. There are so many problems we could solve if our elected officials and leaders would take the approach that they're always going to be open and communicate and have a conversation about whatever it is.
Yeah.
And what I think you're good at, Deb, which I think is something that no one's really ever going to talk about with your legacy, but it's important, is that you will socialize and engage with all belief systems, because I've seen you do it at times to where I'm like, I know they don't really think the same.
Yeah.
But you'll still do it. Whereas some people want to click off or just create their own little scenario and never engage with the other party. And where I have issue with that, especially with changes in me over the last couple of years, is you weren't put here to be mayor.
Yeah.
You weren't put here to have your store or to have your social media page that you had. You were actually put here to reach other people.
Yeah, 100%.
And so if we're going to be in the marketplace, we're going to reach other people, we've got to remember that, we have a job to do for the system of belief that we have, and we need to protect it, and we need to pursue success in it. But what we've got to do along the way is, the trick is still reach people that may not agree with it. Yeah. And that's the love piece that I think we're missing in our churches, in our groups, in our friend groups, is we're quickly forgetting that my job isn't necessarily to reach Kellen. Kellen knows the Lord. Am I there to support him through hard times and vice versa? Am I there to pick him up if he needs it? Yes. But ultimately, our goal is to every moment that we can to be looking and paying attention and be magnetic to people that may have a need or a loss, because our belief system is that generally if they don't know the Lord, they're like us. They've got hurt. They don't have an answer to it.
Yeah.
We have at least have an answer to the hurt.
100%.
And we need to be paying attention to the number one goal, which is being approachable and relatable so that other people feel comfortable engaging us or opening up when we engage them.
Yeah, intentional with that, yeah.
Intentional. So I appreciate that you do that. You never back away from your faith. And there's some other people we know that do that. And we had Vic in here last week who I told him, there are years and years of Vic being in public and speaking that it would have always been about his consummate professionalism, which he is,
Yep.
very good at his job. But the last couple of years, you don't even hear much about Vic being a sheriff anymore. You hear about how the Lord softened a very tough person, and he goes through something very hard, and the Lord was there for him, and it begins to change his heart and his mindset around what he's doing this for. So I appreciate that you already do that very naturally. Tell us a little bit. You're married. How long have you been married?
23 years in June. It was, yeah, yep.
Awesome.
Well, and real quick, Kellen, I don't know if you remember, I think it was a week before last service. We're going through, at church, we have it's called Unoffended,
Yeah.
which I think is
Yeah,
so
go
timely.
ahead.
So
Go
timely.
ahead.
So timely. But Alex talked about, yes, our goal is for justice and righteousness, right? But not without mercy and grace. And so what you're saying, Bryan, I try to always, and I get beat up about it because I focus on mercy and grace and giving people grace in their mess ups or whatever. And then I have my political party that'll sometimes come out against me because I'm giving grace to someone. And I'm like, we go back to that dehumanizing people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden they screwed up. And so we should tar and feather them and they should be stripped of their title and, or maybe they just need some help and they need some prayer and they need some grace and they,
Or maybe you just see humanity and you're going, well,
absolutely.
I mess up too.
Yeah.
I'm not a perfect
There's a really only one person,
mayor
right? That's
person
perfect.
or
That last I
like
checked.
that. And so, you're giving a humanity response rather than like a hardened
Yeah.
to the world. You're giving like a love response of, I deserve grace, so like I'm going to give grace. And I
Yeah.
think that's A+. I go to Battle Creek as well. So
Yeah, it was great. It was
I'm
great.
there.
Sir. Yeah,
I'm there
that's
as
right.
well.
Yeah.
Well, on that
8
part,
a.m.
on that, pursuing votes should be way secondary to pursuing souls. And not even secondary. I just don't know what the word with a Y on the end of it for like 8th or 9th in your life. I mean, cool, you get to be a mayor, cool, you've got to have some votes to that, but there's so many things that need to come in front of that. And the reason why a lot of leaders and elected officials miss the target so much, other than maybe their political career, is because votes is first to them.
Yeah.
They want to win. I get it, the competitive nature of it. But I would think that even while you're pursuing a leadership position or some kind of elected position, that to truly do what you're here to do, you need to win because God assists you in the win, not because it's all votes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did I say a cuss word?
No, I'm rubbing on this too hard, and she can hear it.
Oh, she can hear it. Oh, okay.
Golly, Kellen.
I was like, did I just cuss?
Yeah.
Wow, it's like I'm so numb.
I'll tell you if you do.
Okay.
I'll have the same grin on my face. But
I was going to say, did you say TITS?
no.
Lord,
Oh,
I wonder if
gosh.
they'll filter out if you spell it. Is the AI that good? So I just like the idea that from what I see from you, from my point of view, is that as you pursue leadership position, I don't see you making it about that job, because ultimately, even if you win, you're probably not the right person for it. I mean, that person that's so competitive that they got to win that chair, I'm going to be afraid that they don't remember why they're doing this anymore.
And I've literally seen it in my own council in some ways, with ones that didn't get reelected, and then that was their identity, right? Being mayor is not my identity, right? Christ first is my identity, in building those relationships and winning people to the Lord. That's what we are designed to do, right? And it was really sad to watch people like literally move out of our city because they were no longer,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like they're not a counselor anymore. I'm like, but there's so much more you can do. And it's just it's upsetting whenever I see that. And again, I never sought the position, but it was my way to serve a community. I get asked all the time, like, so are you going to go to state? Are you going to run for federal? Are you going to run, and I'm like, nah, I don't want any of that. Right.
Good.
You have to play so many games at a local level. The people that serve closest to the people are the most effective, in my opinion. And I can be effective every day, right? I can get a pothole fixed. I can get a light pole. I can, you know what I mean? I can do something to make one of my residents' day better every single day if that's what I need to do. When you go there, you have to play all the games. You have to compromise. You got to vote for things maybe you don't want to vote for so that you can get something that you really want voted for. And
it's just a bunch of red tape.
Yeah. And then let's not even talk about DC, like, the crap that goes on there. So
on the local level, I wanted to talk about this because I know, we said their truth or whatever, right? But there is a measure. We had a conversation the other day and you brought it up through the way people even in the party can act.
Yeah.
I believe in our pride, in our need to be right when somebody's wrong, that we can stab people with facts. And so even though our facts are right, it's still not the truth because the truth is a bigger thing. And it takes connection and it takes discovery.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Well,
Just with,
look how Charlie
marriages,
handled those, right?
I mean,
Charlie was prophetic in the way he was able to handle disagreements and conversations and being able to still have grace and mercy when he delivered the facts.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Well,
but I also
real
think,
quick,
like, that's a whole conversation on marriage.
but no, Brian's saying something important
whatever.
because what's being disrupted with what you do is you're humanizing all of this master plan of politics again. Meaning I'm with the people versus I have a digital and some other kind of plan to have this done, to get this done. And the impact is through people still.
Yeah.
Like you can have a jacked up city and still have all the back end numbers and everything look right, but you're not making an impact because you don't know the people that you're serving.
Sure.
Well, from our perspective, which is the way we would believe, to take a position of leadership, an elected position or whatever it is the goal can't be first and foremost, which our world would make it this, you're there for the people. That's what you see. What I see as a person that would be in that position is my ultimate goal is to always reach other people for the answer, for the truth. Like you just said, Kellen, the truth isn't actually the answer to their political question. The truth is the relationship with Jesus, right? So if that's the truth, my goal is going to be able to reach people through my platform, not fix problems through my platform. So the way I see it is, if I'm mayor, it's an assumption that I really need to be doing my job on a day-to-day at an excellent level. Like the word would say, I'm doing my best at all times. But what my goal is to reach people through that platform. So, Kellen, when you say, sometimes the right answer can cut someone, that's the tone, that's your intentions. Is my intentions to win an argument with you? Or is my intentions for you to understand that God loves you no matter what? There's a plan and purpose for your life, and ultimately you're here on purpose. I can deliver truth to you with an inviting spirit, or I can deliver truth to you to be right in an argument, which means we part ways. You may never know the Lord. What happened?
You can either hug him with truth or stab him with truth. And do you want to hug or do you want to stab him?
Well, and if you're stabbing them, you're in the middle of their hurt.
Yeah.
And you're hitting them with facts in the middle of their hurt. So you're doubling down because they're already hurting or carrying a burden or in some kind of shame or lonely or hopeless. You may not know what's behind that mask, but there's a reason there's that much emotion coming at you. And if you don't care, you're in the middle of your own pride and need to be right. And I think what you brought up that a lot of people can't see, it's disturbing to me how many people are jumping into the middle. We just had somebody murdered in front of their kids, and they're jumping in the middle. Well, he said this or that. His life was actually a beautiful picture. What you talked about, you said your first, like you looked at your anointing and said the word wrong, right? And took it different. You were at the beginning of your faith journey. Mm-hmm. And if you looked at his faith journey, it continued to be richer. And Thad, what you're hitting on, one of the last debates he did was with a bunch of young girls that were making a ton of money on OnlyFans, and they were stuck in it. And you saw a position to where they all thanked him for having an open conversation with them, for not judging them. And he talked about all and around all the hard things, but it was the way at which he approached each of them almost like a daughter. and wanting to steer them to see a bigger picture for their lives and ultimately for their value. His message was, you're more valuable than what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, we can look at Charlie's.
Great.
We can look at Charlie's life and see a trajectory of what we're talking about. So, when Charlie was younger, which he was already young in general, which is super sad, but when he was younger, he did start out, and he was very open about this in conversations he would have at events or even at dinners and whatnot about, when I was younger, I didn't really had realized my purpose yet. And what I knew is I was gifted and talented conversationalist, debater. That's a real thing. We do debate in class in college, and I just wanted to have debates. I honestly, my heart was not to hurt anyone, but I also definitely wanted to be right. Well, over the course of time, and about 5 years ago, he said he started to realize, Lord, my platform is about helping people understand what I believe, my connection and relationship with God the Father, and I started to change. So can you find a soundbite from Charlie 11 years ago, being the hammer and not the nail? Yep. Just like you can with all of us.
Yeah.
But over his maturity and his progression with his relationship with the Lord, he began to change, which is not so different than almost every other person in the world. I certainly can relate to that, to where he can be right with softness, with grace, with truth, instead of trying to like condemn and convict like a Pharisee, because that's not what he wanted to be. But he had to have things happen in his life to show him that.
Right.
You know, he had to have experiences, and he credits a lot to his relationship with his wife beginning to kind of soften his heart to where, what is the point in being right in all these conversations? And I'll tell you why it did have an effect, and why a lot of people did realize that transition happened with him. Is a video I had shared with you. We've talked about, people noticed a very, very, very popular TikTok live guy, which that's weird to say, but it's real. I mean, tons of people listening. And why people think that's all stupid, well, you can be stupid while they're influencing 2 million people a day. Mm-hmm. You can call it stupid all you want. They're doing it. And if our job is to help, guide, and influence other people, you better start realizing that any way, shape, or form that the enemy can influence people, it's not stupid. It's strategic. And you've got to get out of your old ways of being like, well, I don't really like that. I'm going to do it my way. Well, cool. Nice talking to 3 people a year.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, this person who would be considered a transvestite online, which is fine, this person was in support of Charlie. What he said was just, look, I've watched all the videos. I see this stuff. This man was killed for just saying truthful things. You know, like other people have noticed, when have we started killing people for just saying truthful things? It doesn't mean I've got to believe that and I want to live that. This guy was open about, I've got issues going on. I'm trying to figure it out, and here's how I'm trying to figure it out. But I'm not mad at him for having a truth. And I thought that was really cool, and to the point of people notice.
Well, and to that video you shared with me, the person was very dogmatic. Like, listen, this man was just shot, and he would have a conversation with everybody.
Anyone and everyone.
He opened up a space for people that just started off yelling at him because he wanted them to get something, and he was willing to sacrifice all that emotional stress to do it. And the person was fired up, but it was an honest video that shook a lot of things, and I think it shook a lot of stuff free. One of the things I think is very toxic in our culture with the internet and social media specifically, and it's rampant in politics. And Deb, I'll bring this over to you because everybody needs to think through this and stop doing it. Is we have such a desire to run towards negative, but we also have a desire, like with the Charlie Kirk thing. Let's go find something from him at 18 and 20 and demand that's him at 31.
Right.
We refuse, if other people are finding bad stuff from 10 or 15 years ago, to actually take any time, look at any facts, figure out where somebody is at and what's changed, and go back and just start running our mouth. There's so much negativity and gossip, and those two things attract more, unfortunately, on social media than anything.
Yep.
Well,
the world we live in, right?
Yeah.
And what's the enemy's ultimate goal? Still kill and destroy.
Yeah.
Well, and the enemy is smarter than us, like traditional, almost arrogant Christians. I mean, the enemy is willing to use anything.
Yep.
He has
all the time in the world.
We just want to make rules all the time. Like, well, you can't do it that way. You know, just like the church in the 80s and 90s. Oh, tattoos, you can't come here. You need to wear a suit. Dude, why would a person who's never been to church and doesn't wear suits for their job or anything else have a suit?
Yeah.
That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But don't get
Yeah.
me going on that because I'll go all day
And
on
I
that
don't
one too
think
and
I
start
ever saw
naming
Jesus in a
churches.
suit.
So I want to take advantage. Deb, you're the first, as Bryan said. Kudos to us. It sounds kind of dumb, actually, right? We have
I love
a
being
woman
first.
on the podcast, but
very competitive. So,
no,
yeah.
honestly, how much harder, or what have you seen that may be harder, being a female mayor?
Yeah.
And how do certain people still? They need to hear it. How do certain people still treat that incorrectly?
Yeah.
Have you had any flack there?
Well, I mean, they're obviously okay. Two things. There is still the stigma, that it's a man's role, but I will be perfectly honest with you. I don't see that I ever want a female president, and I'm just putting it out there, and I'll get all kind of flack for that because we're emotional beings, and if someone was kidnapping my child, I'm probably going to push the red button. You know what I mean? Like I'm probably going to do whatever it takes to get my kid back. Where a man can compartmentalize and be like, well, I pray they don't do anything with my kid, but this is what we're doing, right? Where emotional beings, it's like as females,
Wow.
I just see that role
You know,
as
I had never
very
thought about it that way.
I haven't either.
manly role. Just from a
She's proven Jody right now.
Well, I had always tried to stand on the side of, I'm open to men and women being able to compete for whatever it is, but I'll tell you, Mimi downstairs makes a very good point in the same vein as what you're talking about. And it always surprises people for them to hear Mimi talk about this. And she's not going to mind if I say this. Mimi's married to a girl, and she's a conservative Republican. And what I think about when she tells this story is what you just said. Mimi's dad was a fireman. And Mimi's big. She played softball in college, loves all the sports, is highly against the changing of who should compete in sports and the changing it out. She hates that because, one, it diminishes the value of the power of women to compete
everything we fought for
and do the things they want to do, right?
Yeah.
But then she'll throw you for a loop and say, but there are some things God designed us to do and some things God designed you to do.
Yeah.
And if I'm in a burning building, I want someone that looks like my dad to come in there
You're
because
structurally
he can
built
carry
different
me.
even.
Yeah.
He
Your
can
muscle
carry me.
mass is differently than a female mass. I mean, like everything about you God created to be completely different. And so and I'm all for men being manly and men, you know what I mean? And that.
I know that people are going to get weird on splitting the hairs, but there are just definitely situations where I prefer a female perspective. And this isn't going to cut, I don't mean to cut anyone, but when I think of like a nurse, you guys are generally more designed as nurturers, whereas men aren't so much nurturers. Doesn't mean they won't do a great job.
Sure.
They might do a great job. It will be clean, a lot of times be taken care of. They'll be there, they'll do it. All those things because they're professionals, they care about their career. But I've noticed myself a lot of times in situations where I'm like giving blood or getting a shot, men are doing the job.
Is that where you're passing
And they're
out?
going to do it right.
Like
Women are more nurturers. So a lot of times I'll find that a lady doing like pulling my blood will kind of hold my arm. The guy's like,
more
"But-"
calming. Yeah.
So to your point, I think you're right. And when I think about a female mayor, what I like about the idea of a female mayor, if you can keep your hand off that red button, is
now we got to think
We
about
don't have
that.
one at the city
Yeah,
level,
we're
by
going to
the
think about
way.
that the rest of the month now.
But what I think you're going to do is you're going to massage a situation a little bit more, whereas a man's going to take his bow and arrow out and shoot at
Just run through
the first problem. Like, I'll take care of that. I'll fix that. I'll handle that. When maybe there was a conversation that could have been had instead of an elimination.
Yeah, and I really
like Fortnite.
process. I feel like unintended consequences of decisions as well. Like that's my big phrase is like what are the unintended consequences if we do this, right? Where a man may just decide no, we should do this, and
Well, in
and
your
go from
position-
there.
Shoot and ask questions.
Yeah,
Well, in your position, sometimes no matter what you do, things or people get hurt.
yeah,
That's just
Could be,
the
yeah.
nature
That's
of
the
leadership.
job.
That's
Yeah.
the nature of leadership. I want to shift gears a little bit because you're big and we've already kind of talked about your ability to be involved in the community in different ways, but your heart for the nonprofit and the one you've chosen to be a part of, Soldier's Wish, to steal from you, Kellen, is you are big on helping people that can't help themselves. Similar to Kellen's ministry, which is Band of Brothers, and he's got a different moniker for it, but I really see Band of Brothers as a place where people can go that they just can't do for themselves what needs to be done, either because of a situation they're leaving or some sin they're rooted in that they can't get out of. Maybe they're coming out of prison. Maybe they cheated. Maybe their wife left them. When you're in that state, no matter what people tell you, you don't know how to make the next right decision.
No, you
Everyone
don't.
always says, make the next right decision. Great, good plan. But when you're addicted, when you have addictions, when you're in hurt and pain and you're desperate or you're depressed, the next right decision for that person is going to look different than the next right decision for you, Kellen.
100%.
Yeah.
So when we're dealing with veterans, we're dealing with wounded veterans specifically, which is, I think, the heart of Soldier's Wish, is that person is at a place to where a lot of times the next right decision for them might be a needle. They're addicted, and the only thing that relieves that stress is an addiction or a drug, or they're
Or it's taking their life because they don't feel worthy.
Or it's taking their life. Yeah.
killing themselves. So
They convince themselves they don't have any worth.
Yep.
tell us a little bit about what in the world made you want to get involved in a fight that a lot of people would say is a lost leader. It's just, we can't solve it. It's almost like if we could cure homelessness, we're not going to do it. We're probably never going to completely fix treating our veterans and our wounded servants the right way, but we just got to, I guess, keep chipping away. I mean, what's your perspective on this?
So I've always had a passion for veterans in general because my dad's a Marine Vietnam veteran and my sister is a retired chief in the Navy. So, and she served 3 tours. So she's seen a lot and my dad saw a lot and they still battle with things, right? And so I grew up with that and just have always just wanted to serve those who have served in some way. So when I learned about Soldier's Wish, which was in, I guess, the first year they were around, so 2012, Kevin McDougall, Representative McDougall, was the executive director at the time. And it was literally created to just stand in the gap. There's a lot of really great organizations, but they're all so niche. Like, to even get help, you have to qualify, right? Like, there's just so many things you have to do. And so what I loved about it is it could be anything. It could be someone who's suffering from PTSD and has, suicidal tendencies. It can be someone that maybe someone did take their life and their family can't pay for the services. So let's step in and help them and take that burden from them. Or house repair or car repair, or fixing a septic tank for a 94-year-old veteran that didn't have running water for 4 years. In Sapulpa, by the way, like right here in our backyard, carrying a wagon, pulling a wagon with buckets and filling them up with water every day for almost 4 years because that generation just made it happen,
Wait,
right?
yeah.
Like
4 or 40?
almost 4 years.
Okay, I was like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
but even, can you imagine pulling a wagon every day for 4
Yeah, that's
years?
crazy.
No.
Like,
And
that's a
so,
lot.
yeah, so we were able to step in and make that that burden be gone, right? Like fix the water line, give him a hot water tank, and pay his past due water bill. So the joy comes from being able to actually make a difference and make a lasting impact for someone. One of the wishes we're going to do at Night of Honor is, which I can't disclose because it's not known yet, is heartbreaking. And it's end of life wish that we're going to be helping, take care of. And I found out today that his actual name means God supports and God heals. And I'm thinking, wow, and he's at his end of life, so that's just a little.
That is so wild.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the
wild.
coolest wishes that was granted by Soldier's Wish was before you took over the leadership role, but Kevin was still there. But Jim had a car retrofitted
Yeah.
for an old
Veteran.
Mustang,
Yeah.
like a muscle car for a veteran who couldn't push pedals or whatever.
He was double amputee, right?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
thought that was so cool because a lot of people are going to go, well, that's not really something he needs or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? Every wish doesn't have to be like a pantry full of food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's cool and all, but that made the guy's day. And when we're talking about people that have lost their legs, they're in a depressing situation, or they're in a place in life to where, like, why in the world am I in this? I don't think there's anything wrong with like helping someone get something they could never have.
Well, and get back to normal.
Yeah.
Feeling like they have a place.
Well, what's his name? He was born with his feet, no legs. Sean knows him well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh.
But you know, the joy in his life
Yeah.
was, and this is important for people to know. Like when you see his highlight reels, he's on a skateboard, he's swimming in the ocean, like doing this special way that he can swim.
Yeah.
He's doing what people do
Yeah.
and what he desires to do, and he's not living every day going, "I can
can't
never
do
do
all
that
that.
anymore." Especially if they once did it. You know, what I wanted to hit on for anybody listening was we're here to serve. I know there's a crisis, and we talked about this, especially look at social, with people demanding things while they get comfortable. They get overweight, and they sit in the air conditioning, and they want everybody else to fix some kind of problem. But there's a fulfillment, and you said the word joy. So you're spiritually full. There's peace in your life, and there's joy when you serve people that can't give it back. And I wanted you to talk about, like, Mayor's crazy enough in dealing with all the communication, because I have to at work and in the ministry too. I know you can almost be anxious with the amount of communication that comes at you and trying to keep up with anything, in the offense of people if you don't get back to them. So
Dealing with that right now.
so
by the way.
that happens. That's happening. But it's still important and almost more fulfilling to me, and I know it is to you, when you step into a place of need where you can never get anything back. Can you talk about like how that fulfills you and what that does to not only fulfill you but help you with the other roles?
Yeah. Well, and I think where I find my peace in all of the craziness is because people say, like, how do you do what you do? Like, how do you go to all these places?
Yeah,
Or,
I get that a lot,
I'm tired
too.
of just seeing your all the places you went to today or whatever. I'm like, can you imagine if I posted everything that I did today? Right? That's just the highlight reel, right? Of the key events I went to. But I have to constantly turn to Christ, right? Because otherwise I'd lose my mind. And really the only person who sees me break down is my husband, right? Because it does get overwhelming sometimes. But I think Bryan touched on it earlier about putting on a good face or whatever. You're rarely going to see me down because I don't want anyone to feel my distress if I am in distress. But that's bad, right? Because I probably need my own help from people. But if I don't let anybody know that I need help,
Yeah.
how do I get it, right?
And it gets heavier.
Yeah. And so really it's my husband that is, and we only brought him up one time with, how long you been married, is my backbone of everything, outside of focusing on God. Right. And he's had those moments where he's like, you don't have to do this. Just step down. Right. Like, be done with it. And then I get pissed because then I'm like, nah, I was called to do this.
Because he's trying to fix it,
right?
for you.
And then he's like, well, then put your big girl pants on and get back out there, right? Like, so then I'm like, okay, fine. So
Yeah.
we
It's
have
like
that.
compassion and grace, and also
Yeah.
tough
He
love.
knows
of like,
exactly what to
do
say,
it.
right? Because he's right. I don't have to be mayor. I don't have to do any of the things that I'm doing. I could be working a 9-to-5 job just with my head down and doing whatever I'm doing. So he's like, you don't have to do this. You could do anything. Like, and then I'm like, nah, this is exactly where God wants me to be, and I have to do, And then so he does that encouraging of like, well then get up and get going again. So,
Well, Deb, I'll say this to all that. I'm proud to be friends with you. And let me name some reasons why. Number one, you're a woman that is an appropriate friendship. That's important for married guys, adult professionals. We're out and about all the time. We're out, at networking events. Kellen,
Yeah.
we're involved in things. And there are certain people that even though we like them,
They're unsafe.
they're not someone that would be an appropriate friendship of the opposite of sex. So I appreciate that you're safe. I appreciate that you carry yourself in that way. I think your husband, who I know less than I know you, but would be representative of that. And here's why. Just like women have discernment and can tell how other women are, men have a way of knowing how other men are. We don't have to spend a lot of time with a man to know the vibe, the goal. And your husband, you can tell that he appreciates and respects the position, which, to your point, he's encouraging you to toughen up sometimes and get your big girl pants on and get back out there. He is very comfortable and settled in his position with you, which tells me already that there's a lot of trust there. So I appreciate that you're a female we can be friends with. Number two, you're a great wife. You have problems. I know you guys do. We all do. So I'm sure there's stuff that goes on, but you can tell in the relationship, though, your husband is very supportive of you, even non-verbally. So that's great. You're a mom, but you also, in front of all that, like we've already talked about, you don't hide your faith. So I think you do go God, husband, kids, family. then you go job. And there is nothing wrong with you being a driven, professional woman who wants to get the job done. I mean, when I read the word and that Bible verse talking about be excellent at putting your hands to things, and that it doesn't say, hey guys, be excellent, and hey girls, do what you do.
No, we're all here to make an impact.
We're here to be excellent at what we do. You've chosen that position. I don't know that God ever called you to be mayor. I don't get in weird stuff like that. I believe God gave you gifts and talents that would have been spreading in lots of different industries that you were in. I tell this story all the time. My mom, who passed on Easter, just knew God put her here to be a teacher. I was like, Mom, I just don't know about that. He gave you gifts and talents. Is the idea that maybe Mama and her mom was teachers? Is that why you were a teacher and it's all you know? Nope. God put me here to be a third grade teacher. Okay. Well, just like dentists, God put them 2,000 years ago. We had one dentist on the dang planet. I don't know that he called you to be a
2,000
dentist.
years ago.
I don't know. I don't know, dude. Maybe you have gifts and talents, and you also could have been a
I don't know.
whatever.
People might receive the gospel a little better when they got the mask and the gas on.
I don't know. I get all weird on that. So I don't know.
You were talking about the gas
That
the
is a
other
great
day.
point.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
I think God positioned you where you're at. You chose the platform. He said, fine, because it could have been any other platform, and you would have still performed and had the heart that you have. So I'm proud to be friends with you. I appreciate what you do. I'm especially, I feel great about knowing a person who wants to get involved in the community like you do, because for years, I did a lot of that stuff too, but I'm not so weird that I'm not going to be honest about it. I did a lot of that because I could scale it and monetize it. You know what I mean? And I know, the reason why I get truthful about that is we have a lot of people listening thinking, I do all this stuff and I'm so good. I did that too, but I'm just going to tell you, I did it not with a really bad, dirty heart, but I also that this works. You know, this Christian breakfast thing, this is working out pretty good. This Christian lunch thing or this platform is working out pretty good. Well, I had never had an experience with the Lord that would change my mind. Yeah. See, we talk a lot about sharing with what we believe with people, and that's good. But when you can share what you see, that's especially effective. And recently I was speaking with an agnostic person, which is essentially what they believe. If you guys don't know, Thad, you do because you know everything. But agnostic, and people get this confused. Agnostic people believe there is a higher power. They just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're not going to say you're an idiot because we're here. Something got us here.
Yeah.
But it's not specific to God the Father because they don't want to commit.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm talking to this person, in the past, I could be like, they told me this Bible story and Jonah had this thing and the ark and all the things in Jesus. And they're like, those are stories. Yeah, you're right. How do I combat that? And I can just use words. Well, now I get to share what I've seen. And it's way harder to tell me that I didn't see these things happen right in front of my face. And it's so effective. I believe that that's something you get to hang on to as a mayor that puts God first is ultimately your goal. And also within the Soldier's Wish and other leadership positions you have, that your number one has to be sharing with people what you see, what's happening in your life, how he's blessing you through all the problems that we all have. So I appreciate that. That was a long rant on being proud of you because I don't think people hear that enough.
No,
I mean,
we point out the bad really quick.
Yeah,
yeah.
we want to critique you, and I'll do that privately. I'm not going to do that. I'm just kidding. I don't have anything to critique you on.
I haven't brought your jeans up today, so we're on that.
Dude, they're longer than yours.
They are. I think you changed for
My
us.
legs
Dad,
are up.
don't they actually cover his shoes when he
I
stands up
just want
today?
to point out your shoe to sock combination.
Oh, Kellen's.
Kellen. So hopefully everyone's checking that
So week in, week out.
Pretty
Oh,
sweet.
well, they are.
This is my post-COVID lazy, and it's working like crazy.
Trust me, they see it on the camera. They're like, that
What's
clashes like a
happening?
mother, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
My son's better.
Whatever's
My
fine.
son's better looking than me, so I just put him on
I
everything.
love it.
I mean, yeah, but the parrots, I don't know. So, by the way, hey
can
dudes,
talk, bro.
should have never been invented.
I mean-
that's my soapbox. They should have never been invented.
Go ahead. I'm on that turn too.
Let's
Hey,
kind
says
of-
the guy that has 400 pairs of shoes and can't figure out which one he likes.
Oh.
It's a tough
He
decision
likes
every
what he
morning.
likes.
Continue.
It's usually
But I've been hooked up on these
black,
babies.
Gray.
I
or
got
green.
these in white and black, and I've been hooked up on these things, Deb. Oh my gosh, they go with everything.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my, they're so cool too. So let's bury this down. I want to tell everyone we thank you for watching the podcast
Yeah,
all the time.
thank you for
sharing it. Thank you for reviewing it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We don't mind any bad reviews. We don't get a lot, by the way, Kellen. Usually what we get in a bad review is someone that just doesn't agree. I don't really think that's a bad review. I think that's an opportunity. But we appreciate it. Please keep doing it. Please keep going to the Facebook page with all of it.
If you want to know where Bryan gets his jeans, he's going to put a link on the podcast.
Oh,
Yeah, TikTok shop.
wow, we're really going there.
TikTok
Wow.
shop. You want some?
Hey,
you want to get some?
So this all goes back. We did the prison ministry.
Yeah.
And Scott and I roll in, and they were shorting this. He had skinny jeans on that stuck standing up to right here in the middle of 40 prisoners that talked pretty manly. And I was like, this is fantastic.
I can get not one negative comment.
Not one.
Not one.
To your face.
No, in fact, most of
I
it
noticed
was
that he
complimentary.
I noticed that he stood up and talked really boldly immediately.
Yes.
Flexing and
Yes.
whatnot. You know, we did go to the prison recently, Deb. I don't know if you saw it, but you'll love this. For the first time in Oklahoma, we had a sitting governor
Yes, I did.
in the prison to watch a first-time group of people, inmates, 22 or 23, I think, share business presentations in a Shark Tank environment for other business leaders to judge and critique, but also brag on because they were awesome. And the governor came to do it. So when I see stuff like that, we can sit all day and complain about what our governor's doing. I don't like it. I don't like this way, and I don't like that way. But tell me about when he's going to go put his money where his mouth is. That's when I see that, okay, we're starting to see the job for what it is. Our platform is to reach people. Some people just don't understand that, Kellen.
Yeah.
They don't understand why we're doing it.
And the people that don't understand are not involved. And I'll tell you what the coolest part. So Kevin runs a big company before he's governor, right?
Yeah.
So he chose to be governor and funded it with some people who funded it himself. So he didn't have to rely on all the stuff that gets you kind of crooked. You can say whatever politically, but he's standing 5 feet in front of these inmates that have worked as hard as they can for 2 months on their business and their presentation. And the 5 of them pitched as bold as they could. And then they asked him what he was grateful for in his one why statement. But the way that they honored him just for like sitting for 30 minutes and giving him feedback and he was all there for them.
Yeah.
And gave advice.
Yeah.
Like he got a little, like maybe half a second emotional. Like it was just a beautiful connection. And I just want everybody to hear this. For people that are locked up, that live a different season for many years than a lot of us, they don't care. They didn't care who he was. He's got a lot to do, important title. He's running the state, and he's there for them. And that meant the world to him. It didn't matter who the person was. He was there authentically for them. And it changed, man, probably the next couple months for those guys.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So we've got the gala coming up. What's the date on that again?
November 6th.
We'll put, I'll get Tiffany some links from your post to be able to share about ticket availability, links to sponsorships and all that kind of stuff. We came last year. I've been coming every year. We went last year. We had a good time.
And Deb, why should people come to the gala?
So there you get to hear the stories of the veterans' lives that we've impacted, and then we actually grant wishes live. And so you actually see it happen, and you see the true reactions and lives impacted while you're sitting there. And then you have the ability to step up and help us grant more wishes.
And then people are very aware with what's going on about the homeless stuff, right? Because
Yeah.
you think it's greater number, but a lot of those homeless are our veterans.
They are.
And a lot of those with mental challenges are our veterans. Can you just kind of speak to that, hey, by the way, a lot of the stuff that you might be worked up about involves veterans right now?
Yeah, and that's why, like Sean Lord with Heroes Hope, that we just went to his gala to help him raise some money because there are a large population of our veterans that, you know, they return back and we do a really great job of sending our men and women off to fight for our freedom, and then we just expect them to come home and be
Normal.
Figure it out.
the same person they were when they left, and they're not.
Yeah.
And so things happen. Your marriage could break down, and next thing you know, you're without a home, and you're homeless, living in your car, but now you can't pay your car payment, so now you're truly homeless, and your mental capacity is whacked, and you turn to drugs, and it's just a vicious cycle. And so we see it all the time, right? And so there is compassion for the homeless, right? But on my level is seeing that, knowing that we have veterans that have fought for our freedoms and now they're living under a bridge is heartbreaking. But I want them to have help, right? Like we've got to find a solution to their mental issues, and not just a pill, right? Like we've got to truly get to the heart of it, and we've got to get them off the drugs, and then they're able to live a productive life again if we can address the issues of what's going on with them. And many times that's not the solution. They just want to stick them somewhere, but then if they still have the mental health issues and the drug addictions, they're probably going to burn the place down, right? Because they don't have appreciation for it. They don't have, a mental
They're struggling.
understanding. Yeah.
Where is it going to be this year?
River Spirit.
Say at the River Spirit?
Yep.
So no cigars. Sucks.
Well, afterwards, I know. I mean, there'll be some cigars that will be given to sponsors and such. But
we just can't smoke them in
yeah.
there. You know what they should
Downstairs,
do is at the little, I guess you can smoke them out on
Anywhere,
the floor,
yeah,
really.
Yeah, on the casino floor, you can smoke them all day long.
We should just have it down there. Just take over it down there. You know,
So around the slot
Do
machines.
is the deck outside Margaritaville, some kind of maybe a VIP experience to where anyone who sponsors there could be, cigar
cool.
smoking out there on that deck. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
I don't know if they
there's
would.
even there's a patio that's outside of the ballroom area. So
Upstairs?
yeah. Yep.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't.
Let's go find
Learn
it.
excited
something
now.
new
Let's go find
We
every
need to
day.
test how
we need
much
to go
weight
find
it
it.
can hold. See about 1,000 people out there. I love cigars. There's no secret about that. So I think
I'm
that's
hoping
so
to
cool.
get it, like have it in a hanger one day. Like how cool would that be? To just get a big,
Well, that's
It's possible.
the problem is how much room I guess you would need. It would need to be pretty big, wouldn't
pretty
it?
big. Yeah. I have some ideas. I've got some things in works.
Even if the thing went out into the, I don't know. Yeah, we need to chit chat about that. We know some people with hangers and whatnot. It would just, the size would be tough. One last request on the gala. Kellen and I would like to MC the event this year,
Would you?
if that's possible. Think it. You don't have to answer right now.
Okay. I'll think
We can
have to answer
maybe
right
think that. We can
now.
think that
We're gonna
through.
put you out on stream,
Hey, they're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
They'll have fun for sure.
and no is a complete sentence.
Well, we'll get down up there.
heard that.
I got plenty of things to say.
No, you never talk.
well-
I mean, you just. I
Lots of
keep
words.
trying
I
to
thought
pull
men
words
had
out of you on this.
Yeah, I thought men had a certain number of words.
When he starts wearing the skinny
Oh, we
jeans,
meet him
the
early.
words come out. They squeeze the words out of him. Yeah.
Hey.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. Kellen doesn't even know this story yet because it happened recently, but even the most unlikely of people are sharing our podcast. The most unlikely.
You have to talk
And
about
it's fun. It is fun. You want to talk about it. So, hey, you got to remember everybody's sharing that thing out there. And I will tell you, good press, bad press is the same thing.
Yeah.
So thank you for all you do as a leader, Deb, and as a wife and mom, and someone that's worth imitating and being friends with. I appreciate that. Thank you for what you do with Soldier's Wish. Again, we want to remind everybody, Get Canceled is out there on a weekly basis, iTunes, Spotify, and Tiffany's favorite, iHeartRadio, which I think is weird. I don't like it, but whatever.
I've noticed that the last couple times your voice changes. Is it because you have to say "I heart" out loud?
I don't know. Is it even a thing anymore? I know Tiffany puts it on. Is it even a thing? How many?
Your media person says yes.
Yeah, I guess 11 or 12 people probably listen to it, but which is fine. Like bad press is good too. Even if you have 300 followers and you share a podcast, we love that. We thank you for it and appreciate it. Give us good and reviews. Bad if you have to. That's no problem. Thank you again to our guest Deb,
thanks for taking
and
the time.
for all you
Yeah,
do.
absolutely.
We haven't
moved
let
to VA.
we haven't let Thad pray in a while. You want Thad? You want
Move to
to?
VA, right?
Yeah, I moved. Yeah.
Hey,
I
just
moved
one
to
more
VA.
time, Jody. We had a woman on the podcast.
Three of us live in VA, and Brian's the outcast.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
pray over
Tiff
this.
lives in
Dad.
Wausau.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's pray. Lord, thank you so much for this room, these people. Lord, we bless Deb as she goes just to be a public servant, to lead a up and coming big city, to do good. And Lord, we ask that you grant her humility and grace to lead with. Lord, I ask that you grant us, Bryan, Kellen, Tiffany, and I, to lead our homes with grace and humility as well. So, Father God, thank you so much for this time that we get together. And Lord, we bless the people in this room. We bless the people listening. And Jesus loves you. So, amen.
And don't forget to
Get canceled.
Get canceled.